Hi Connor, can you introduce yourself please?
Well, Glenn, my name is Conor. I sit next to you in the office in the Department of Foreign Languages and Literatures. I teach philosophy and English.
Great. And how are you feeling today?
A little sad, a little lonely, I guess, and a little jealous. I'm Irish, you're Canadian, you're from Toronto. So where we come from, we celebrate Christmas, and it's a big family and friends celebration. So all my friends and my family right now, they're on holidays and having a wonderful time, eating a lot of nice food, sending me a lot of pictures, showing me the fun they're having. And you and I are sitting in the office, grading 400 papers, preparing.
Did you get a holiday this year for Christmas?
Once I finished my Christmas morning exams, which were at 8 a.m., I went for dinner with you and Jim, other teachers. But no, I've not had a holiday yet. In China, we celebrate the Spring Festival. So I'll go to Thailand, and I'm excited about that. And that's the problem, I think. Or not the problem, the dilemma that I feel sadness on one hand because I miss doing something that I know I love. But on the other hand, there's a lot of excitement because I'm in China and there's so much opportunity. And every day I come into work, I teach some of the best students in the world, some of the brightest people in the world. And then when I'm done with class, I sit and I talk with the brightest teachers in the world. And it makes me feel, creative, but academically. It makes me feel more intelligent. It gives me more motivation. I feel more inspired. So on one hand, I don't have Christmas, I don't have my family, my friends, which is sad, yes. But on the other hand, I have all these new things that I'm doing, and I'm really excited about them. It reminds me of a story you told me quite a while ago. You mentioned that the reason you went to Oxford, you studied in Oxford, yes? The reason you went to Oxford was you wanted to be around people who inspired you, people who were brilliant, people who were really motivated and intelligent. And I understood what you said, but I didn't understand what you meant, like the meaning, the definition of what you were trying to tell me. But I feel that now. When I first went to university, I didn't feel accepted, I didn't feel stimulated or motivated. But here, being with the best students who question me all the time, and being around brilliant professors, I mean, intelligent people like you, with whom I can talk and refine or correct my ideas. Like, every day I'm really excited because I come into work, I've got all these new ideas I want to talk about, and I sit next to you, and I say, Glenn, I've got this idea, and you'll smile, and you'll say, okay, most of this is awful, but this one little part of it's pretty good. Let's talk about this. So when I was talking with my brother, he said, are you sad? Is it lonely over there in China? And I said, yeah, it is a bit, but on the other hand, I'm really, really happy where I am now. I feel more powerful, more creative and inspired. So to answer your question, I feel a lot of things right now. And you?
So actually, before we get on to me, to continue with that thread that we were talking about, have you lived in another place before, outside of Ireland?
Yeah, last year I lived in Spain. Well, forgive me, I lived in Basque Country, which is the autonomous region in the north of Spain. So it's a completely different country, really, in terms of culture and music. Totally different language. It's like English and Mandarin, completely different. Basque and Spanish. So.
And how did you feel over the Christmas time when you were
Well,
in Basque Country?
Spain being a country in Western Europe, I had Christmas off. I had 3 weeks paid vacation, so I went back to Ireland. So I was with my family last year for Christmas. So I felt amazing, actually. So this is this is the first time I've been away from, not necessarily away from home, but away from the people with whom I would ordinarily spend Christmas. So I've been away, but with my brother before, and we celebrate together. But this is the first time being away from what I would consider normal Christmas company. And as I said rather, I'm okay with it because I do feel inspired and I feel happy. Like once we're done this, I'm going to go do something else academic and creative, and I can't wait to do that. So it's very much a compromise. You know, you live abroad as well, you've lived in other countries. You sacrifice doing things that you know you like to discover things that are also really interesting and fascinating and create new friendships, new opportunities. So I'm actually really happy, even though I'm not doing something that I know I would love to do.
Okay. So we're reaching now the end of our term. It's almost the end of December now. There's only a few weeks left in the term. This is usually a time when students and teachers and everyone else is feeling a lot of stress. Everything is finishing up at this moment. So how do you feel as far as stress? And when you do feel stressed, what are some things that you like to do to relieve that stress?
Stress. Well, the semesters here, as you know, are 16 weeks, and we all have maybe 350 students. So that's a lot of papers, a lot of grading. Uh, so yes, definitely since starting this job, I do feel quite a bit of stress, more than I'm used to. But as of late, I've found a way to deal with that. Excuse me, I've rediscovered how I usually deal with that. When I lived in Spain, when I lived in Italy, when I lived in Ireland, I always had a piano in my house. And how I would deal with a long day, a lot of stress, would be I would sit down, ignore everybody, turn off my phone, and play piano for hours and hours and hours. My weekends would just be me playing piano. For the first 2.5 months here, I did not have a piano. I could not find a piano anywhere. So I did find myself getting a little less patient with people. Not with my students, but I found it a little more difficult to deal with all the new work, the new deadlines, the new research that I'm doing, all these new things in my life, which take up so much of my time, and I wasn't finding a way just to relax. Um, but then about 2 weeks ago, I finally found a piano on campus, and I sat and played for maybe 6 hours. I did not realize it was 6 hours. I sat down at 3, and suddenly, oh, it's 9 o'clock. I'm really hungry. Like, I just forget everything that's happening. I forget, oh, I should have met somebody 2 hours ago. You know, I go into my own world. I don't feel angry. I don't feel sad or stressed. I just feel very calm. So usually that's how I deal with it.
And what kind of music do you play when you play piano? Is there a specific something that you? Is this something that's you're using music that other people have written? Is this your own music that you're writing yourself? Is it improvised? How how does this process work for you that really helps you relieve the stress?
If I were a better musician, I would use the word process. I'm a very limited musician. I'm not actually able to play other people's music. At best, I can play things I write. And I try to play jazz. I think that's probably most suitable to me because there's so much freedom there. Because jazz is such a wide term that I can make mistakes and pretend that, oh, I meant to do that. I wrote that mistake. Actually, last Saturday, I was playing piano and a student of the university came into the room and just sat down. And he was completely curious about what I was doing. He'd never heard anything like this. And I wasn't aware of this at the time. I was in my own little world. 2 hours later, he approaches me when I'm taking a break and starts talking to me, saying he had been listening for 2 hours. I didn't even know you were here. And he was trying to find out what this style of music was or is. And he said, I study classical music. And is this jazz? Just it was such a funny question to me. Is this jazz? Yeah, this is what they called the jazz. And he said, this sounds so strange to me because I study classical music. And when I hear wrong notes, it sounds really strange in my ears, is how he said it. He said, well, that's that's part of why I love it. That when I'm really immersed or when I'm really focused on what I'm playing, I'll just try something crazy. And it might sound terrible, but in my little world where I'm living right now, it sounds very therapeutic. It's very relaxing and calming. I can do whatever I want on the piano. I can mix any noises I like. And to me, that's very soothing, almost like therapy.
So I guess that creativity would be part of expressing yourself, would be of relieving this.
Well, absolutely. Before I came to Tsinghua, before I became a teacher, I was a musician, and I never had any stress because all day I was playing music and I was getting paid to do what I want. So then when I started teaching, suddenly I realized, well, I don't have 10 hours every day to sit and play the guitar or the piano. So I had to prioritize and economize my time. And talking about stress, when you have 350 students, you don't always have time or energy and motivation to sit down and be creative. So one of the things that I have discovered since coming here is to manage my time a lot better. And that helps relieve my stress. Because if I say, I want to do 20 things today, well, I probably won't even get 5 things done. But if I divide my time across the week, then I find that I have time to go play piano at the weekends. And that really makes all the difference for me, especially when you have 16-week semesters.
Mm-hmm.
But you, Glenn, my friend, how do you deal with stress? KTV?
One way that I like to deal with stress is, I think, similar to what you were saying, not to try to do too many things in one day,
Yeah.
to really limit that number, only a few things that I want to accomplish that day, and a number that should be not too difficult. And then if I feel I have some extra time, then I can work on something else. But using that, purposely reducing the amount of things I feel like I have to do in one day. That way I can get that momentum of saying, well, today I had a good day. Today I accomplished a lot of things. And then tomorrow I will also do the same thing. So I think that's one key for me, for sure.
We talked about this at Christmas dinner, didn't we? The setting small, achievable goals. So if I set myself 2 goals for today, shower and go to the bank, then everything after that is extra. So I've done all the things I wanted to do. And anything else, well, I did really well today.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Also, I think, at least for me, exercise, getting regular exercise of any sort, whether it's sports or
Well, you're in tremendous shape, look at you.
anything like that, and also getting enough sleep. Those seem to be the main things. Enough exercise, enough sleep, and not trying to do too much. And I think that's how I can manage stress.
You're a bright man. Can you tell me how to sleep? Because I have always had terrible difficulty getting enough sleep. I really can't. I usually wake up 10, 15 times a night. Maybe get 5, 6 hours sleep. How do you do it? How do you manage?
I think one good way to make sure you're rested enough is to have a consistent time to wake up. So every day wake up at the same time. And then if you're feeling quite tired, you might go to sleep a bit earlier, or if you're not so tired, you might go to sleep a bit later. But if your body is used to waking up at the same time every day, then you can get more of that consistency in there.
So a routine.
Yeah, and also avoiding TV, computers, phones, anything like that an hour or two before bed.
Ah, really?
Because the blue light, I think it's the UV light or something,
the screen.
The screen will make your body think it's still daytime. So you can get actually programs that will make your screens turn orange at nighttime, and those are much better for you.
Do you use that?
I do.
Did you drink coffee? I know you drink coffee quite a lot. Do you find that you're very sensitive to that? Because doesn't that help with or cause stress, too much coffee?
I try not to drink coffee after about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I will drink coffee in the morning, in the early afternoon, and then after that I will avoid it. And I find that helps me to still be able to sleep properly. Thank you, Connor, for coming in today and talking about feelings and stress. This is a issue that many people have, especially around this time of year, how to deal with your own feelings, both good and bad feelings, what this time of year, the holidays, brings up for you, and how to deal with stress. So thank you very much for coming.
My pleasure, Glenn. Thank you for having me.